Hello, this is Brian. Today is Monday, August 24th, 2020, and I want to present another episode of Spotlight on Trees. Today I'm in the Angeles National Forest, just parked right over there off Angeles Crest Highway by mile marker 2815. And today's spotlight is on the California laurel, also known as California Bay Laurel or California Bay. And that is this tree here, Umbellularia californica. What can I say about the Bay Laurel? There's actually quite a bit to say about this tree. It's one of the relatively few members of the Laurel family, the Lauraceae, native here, at least that I know of. And just like the name implies, it's a type of a laurel tree. It's not in the same genus as the Grecian laurel, which is Laurus nobilis, but it is a fairly close relative. Now, here in Southern California, it usually takes on more of a shrubbier stature, like this, often multi-trunked, but has been known to get over and well over 100 feet tall in favorable conditions. I have not seen that here in Southern California, but this is one of the tallest broadleaf trees here in the Pacific states. Basically ranges from, I would say, somewhere in Oregon down to, I believe, San Diego County. I do not believe it makes it into Baja, but I'm not sure 100%. Okay, so the morphology. And I apologize, this is a little bit of a, looks like it's probably an area where people probably camp and litter. But about the California laurel, just like the Grecian laurel, it's got narrow, kind of ovate leaves pointed at the tip. And another thing about the California laurel is that it is very aromatic. Very, very aromatic. Now watching where I step, because I see some poison oak over here, so I don't want to be stepping in it. But if you crush a leaf of this, it is very, very, very strong. In fact, it can be so strong that for some people it has been known to cure headaches. For other people, it's known to cause people to have headaches. So use your discretion in how much you want to sniff from this tree. I find it to be a very pleasant smell, but it is very strong. Much stronger than Laurus nobilis, the Grecian laurel. So another thing about this tree has been used to make seasoning. You can use it for seasoning, but you're going to want to at least cut off about half the amount you would use of regular bay spice. So again, be careful how much you use. It could be very overpowering. A lot of times you'll smell the tree before you see the tree because of its very pungent aroma. So as you see here, like a lot of other trees, it presets next year's flower buds the previous summer. These will be next year's flower buds, these little guys right here. And the flowers are kind of a greenish yellowish color. Kind of small, but they're noticeable. And you see, this was a pretty decent sized tree. I'll go back over here just a little bit more so you can see. This tree has a pretty decent sized main trunk on it. Like I said, I'm trying to step very carefully here so I don't step over any poison oak. We are just a little above 2,000 feet in elevation, so poison oak is something to watch out for at this low altitude. I'm gonna go back over to where I was standing, close to where I was standing before. This one has one main trunk, but it branches very low. And that's very typical here in Southern California for California laurel. Here's another laurel. Here's another one. And in this woodland here, we got a mixture of, it looks like, well, quite a bit of laurel. And I see some canyon live oak, Quercus chrysolipus. And it looks like this area, since we're kind of on a north-facing exposure here, you're going to see the trees and thickets get a little bit larger. And this tree does produce a fair amount of seedlings, and so this means it probably has pretty fertile seed. I do see some seedlings as I'm looking around, and some younger saplings here and there. So let's see what else. Oh. The bark of the California laurel starts off kind of medium gray, starts off relatively smooth, but then it furrows into these little mini platelets. I'll show you right over here, because this is one I can get close to without wading through poison oak, which is definitely against what I want to do. So I'm just kind of watching my step. So you can see it's kind of checkered. It furrows more with age and with larger trunks, as you can see here. And we've got a small sapling here. So on my hikes, when I'm hiking with Bay Laurel, I can come across quite a few saplings and seedlings. So I already showed you what the flower buds look like. It's not the season for flowering, so I can't unfortunately show you what a flower looks like. But some of these trees have developing fruit, so I'm going to go look for one that I can get close to. Looks like this one doesn't seem to be fruiting too much. Oh, here it is over here. Okay, the fruit on the California laurel is a large, somewhat avocado-shaped drupe. And this is a developing drupe right here on Umbellularia californica. Eventually they'll get a little bit larger, and then the color will darken up a bit. And reportedly the seed is supposed to be edible. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I believe from what I've heard it is, but don't take my word for it. Obviously you want to do a little more research about its edibility. I don't know, I think if it is, you probably have to prepare it, probably cook it or something, but again, it's a very nicely statured large shrub to quite large tree. I doubt you're going to get a lot of 100-foot specimens here. I've never seen them quite that large. I've seen them about the size of these two that I've shown you here, maybe a little bit larger. They are very prevalent in low elevation here in the Angeles National Forest, also in the San Bernardino National Forest, and the northern parts of the Cleveland National Forest, like around the Santa Ana Mountains in Orange and Riverside counties. There are quite a few specimens, like Silverado Canyon, Trabuco Canyon, which probably resprouting right now from the 2018 Holy Fire. But, and I say, it's actually a very, very, very beautiful tree. Large leaves, fragrant smell. Right now the smell's not overpowering. I could actually barely smell it right now. But sometimes the smell can get very strong. And I've hiked in bay laurel groves on the Trabuco Trail where the smell is very strong. Just for some reason today, it's not. So we also got other associates of California laurel, like we got big cone Douglas fir, Pseudotsuga macrocarpa. And way up there we got a large big leaf maple, Acer macrophyllum. So the types of environments preferred by bay laurel tend to be the more mesic, in other words, some of the moister aspects of canyons in foothills and lower mountains, like this little canyon right here. This is prime Umbellularia californica habitat. And elevation-wise, they're typically a low elevation tree. Typically between 1,000 and 5,000 feet. However, I believe they've been known to grow as high as 6,500 feet. I've yet to see that, but it is possible. I don't think I've seen it above 6K yet. But we're coming up here on the mouth of this ravine, and you'll get a little taste of some of the other stuff growing here. Here we go. We got another California laurel right here. So it's quite common in this little canyon. So we got another one here, and this one's more of a large shrub with its stature. And after a lot of fire disturbance, they can form these really shrubby multi-trunk thickets. Another common plant, especially closer to where underground water is mule fat, Baccharis salicifolia, subspecies salicifolia. And again, got big leaf maple, big cone Douglas fir, canyon live oak, and we got coast live oak. So typically it's a woodland slash forest tree, and often is found closer to where there's a lot of water sources too. So here, this is more of a seasonal drainage from the mountain above. So we'll get quite a bit of water here. And again, we got more Bay Laurel here, Quercus agrifolia, variety agrifolia, the coast live oak, and poison oak, Toxicodendron diversilobum is another common associate. So they do sometimes come out in moister chaparral, and now that's kind of an oxymoronic term, but they tend to like canyons with north-facing aspects, and this canyon's no exception. And there's the tree right there I was just visiting. We'll take one more poke at it before the end of this video. Now, there's another nickname for this tree, especially for the northern part of its range. They also, the people in the northern part of its range often call it Oregon-Myrtle. Now, it's not in the Myrtle family. Myrtle family, the Myrtaceae, is a separate family, so it's not really related to them. But where the trees get large enough, sometimes the wood is used for various items. I believe cabinetry and stuff like that. But yeah, up north they call it Oregon-Myrtle, which is another nickname for Umbellularia californica. So once again, beautiful tree. Can get a very fine form if trained properly or grows in the moistest environments. Otherwise, here in Southern California, you're going to expect more of a shrubbier multi-trunk tree. But regardless of its stature, it's a very nice shade-giving tree, especially on a very warm, humid day like today. We're getting a lot of moisture coming from the tropical region streaming up, so the weather's been hot and humid. This is a very good shade tree. You might want to keep it somewhat moist. Obviously, since we're used to summer dry and winter moist, you're not going to want to overwater, but you might want to occasionally water it during the summer, just to keep it okay. But other than that, just like most of our trees, it does tolerate some drought. So once again, Umbellularia californica, the California laurel, California Bay laurel, California Bay, Oregon-Myrtle, whatever you want to call it, as long as you take the time and come out and see these trees, they're beautiful, and I promise you it's worth the effort of stopping off on the side. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.